in on what went on weather-wise today, and I can tell you this one thing: we set a brand new record which may never be broken again.
How many days has it been 100 this year? 53. The last record was 52, set back in 1954, and it looks like tomorrow will be our 54th day if things go well.
Hello guys, looks like there are some technical difficulties and we are not ready to start yet, so yeah, I don't know. We'll probably be running in like 10 minutes or so, hopefully. So don't go anywhere. Alright everybody, we are ready to start, the room is loading, and it will be just a little bit more time before we are finally jumping into the game. So, welcome, and feel free to tell me about any problems with the sound, feel free to ask me about any rules or anything else. I know the game, and I can help you if you want to learn more about it. So, let me do this. Alright, hello guys. And here we are. I'll be picking a more convenient angle. Okay, so hopefully we can see what is going on, and for now the players will be going through the preparations to begin the match, and I can talk a little bit about the game itself. So, if you want any clarifications, again, ask me, and I will just recount rules in short for you. So, what do you see here on the screen? You know, hopefully you can see my cursor. Yes, you can. I think so. Yeah, you can see. Okay. So, Keyflower is economic game about meeple placement and about betting. Betting is in fact a very huge part of this game. Shortly each player will get a hand of meeples from this bag here, and those meeples are random colors. There are, I believe, 3 different colors of meeples available. Yellow, blue and red. However, there is also a 4th color, green, which we will cover in a short while. So, once they get their hands, they're ready to start playing. And your turn consists of taking one of 2 actions. You either can bet on one of the tiles which are available over here, or you can use one of the tiles either in your village, which is represented by this tile currently for each of the players, and we can see that there are some technical difficulties apparently, so let's be patient and hopefully they will get resolved. So this is the village tiles. So any tile you acquire, you will put to your village according to certain rules, and they will be available for use. You can use any tile in any village or in the middle of the board. However, if you use the tile in the village which belongs to your opponent, they will be getting the meeple you place on it. So you do your actions by placing meeples from your hand, and to use the tile for the first time you need to place 1 meeple there, and then you lock the color of the tile. So if, for example, I place a red meeple here to use this building, I can zoom in for you. So this is a peddler. It allows you to exchange 1 yellow meeple from your hand. It's not the meeple you place there. You put an additional meeple in the bag and take a green meeple. So once you're ready, sorry, just a second. What's going on? Sorry for that. Okay, so you place a red meeple there. That means that all of the meeples on the tile should be red. So when the next player wants to use the same tile, he will have to put 2 meeples, and they both need to be red. So that's the first section, that's the production. And another action which you can do is to actually bet on tiles to acquire them. In order to add a tile to your village, you need to have the most meeples bet on that tile at the end of the round. So well, you can see there are 2 sides of this tile, which are colored according to the player colors. So one is blue, one is red. Those are the betting areas. So when one player wants to acquire the tile, he can bet any number of meeples from his hand and put them there. So, for example, I am the blue player. I want to acquire this tile, which is a miner, which allows me to get 2 iron. And in order to do that, I need to bet on it and win the bet. So I will put, for example, 3 yellow meeples there. And now all of the meeples which I used to activate that tile to use the production, and in order to bet for the tile, also need to be yellow. So you see how that works, hopefully. Okay, I'm not reading the chat at the moment, and nobody is in the chat, so it's whatever. So that's the basic gist of the game. And as we can see, the players have started. So we have 2 players here. They're the winners. They're the finalists of the group D. So that means that they have gone through quite some opposition, and as we can see, they're playing really fast already. So we see red player, which is flashvoyagerg. Okay, and the blue player is Migelius. So we see flashvoyagerg betting 2 yellows on the what is it? Ale house. The ale house allows you to place a meeple there and get a random meeple from the back, so you can use it to kind of cycle the meeples. And if you upgrade it, which is a process we will discuss when we get to it, you can get 2 meeples from the back, so you can use it to gain kind of meeple advantage here in your opponent. So we can see that Migelius currently is betting on this workshop. Workshop is a very sweet tile because it allows you to get any one of the 3 resources of the game, which are stone, wood, or iron. And Migelius is contributing to 2 blue meeples there. So that means that his bet will be a little bit harder to beat than if he just put 1 there. On the other hand, there is an advantage to put in on the 1 meeple on a place, because once your opponent starts betting on the same tile, if your bet is currently losing, you can redistribute those meeples to other tiles however you wish. You can use them to... you can replace all of them. You always have to move them in bunch, but you can replace them to activate another building, or bet for another building, or do something like that. So, and we can see the first conflict here. So we see that flashvoyagerg wanted to get this ale house, but Migelius is currently outbidding them on it. So that should give us an idea of what strategies the players are going to use. I guess they're going to... Both players really want to get that meeple advantage. I guess Migelius is already getting prepared, probably to upgrade this ale house, because it is looking very, very tempting to just upgrade it as soon as possible and to get that meeple advantage on your opponent, which is very valuable, because if you have more meeples, you can afford to do more like mind game style plays, when you just when you place small bets, draw your opponent into betting there and showing you what resources he has, and then just out-betting him by placing even more meeples. And all sorts of these little tactical moves, they become available with having more meeples, and obviously you just have better production if you have more meeples, because you have more activations of your buildings, of opponents' buildings, of buildings in the center of the board, anything you might want. We see flashvoyagerg, now that he's been outbid on the ale house, going into the peddler. And peddler allows you to get green meeples. And green meeples is another strategy you might use to gain an advantage, because green meeples are unique. They're like super meeples. There are no green meeples in the bag, so you can randomly get them. The only way to get them is by using buildings like this, to transform meeples of a certain color into green meeples. And green meeples are obviously very powerful, because they allow you to kind of lock down a certain building while you are the only one who has them. When you use a green meeple on the building, you're basically saying to your opponent, you're not going there. It is a way to easily win bets, it's a way to use production and very, very easily prevent your opponent from doing anything with this, that tile. Okay, let me just for a second Okay, so it's kind of the basic gist of this game. And we already see the first season coming to an end. So the game takes place over 4 seasons. The first season is called Spring, and it is probably the fastest season usually. So we see players have acquired everything from the center of the board. We've seen a lot of betting. We've seen almost no production here, which is to be expected. So the winning bets go into the bag. Alright. And now we see this ships. Whoever wins the bet on this first player tile gets to choose the ship they want first. And the ship contains a certain combination of meeples and skills. Skills are required to upgrade buildings, to do production in certain ways, all this good kind of stuff. So, and now we see both players building up their villages. So the thing with villages is you have to manually move resources using these buildings with horses, you know, to deliver the resources to the buildings that actually need them. And you need resources to upgrade, as you can see here. You see, this is an upgrade icon, which displays how many resources you need to upgrade the building. And you also need resources to activate certain scoring abilities at the end of the game. And we will get to that when we get to winter, which is the final season of the game. So we see both players. So we see flashvoyagerg actually building all of his stuff very close to his central tile, which gives him a certain advantage because everything that you gain from your opponent's village or from the tiles in the center of the board, it goes on your central tile. So by placing his tiles like this, he can easily transport all the resources to the tiles he needs and upgrade. And also he has placed, very smartly, miner in the center of his village, so now whenever he produces at the miner, the resources will go on this tile, and he will be easily able to transport them around. So that's good for him. And we see Migelius, on the other hand, building kind of this awkward, in my opinion, rectangle to the side of his village center, so it will take more effort for him to transport his resources to this ale house. And I'm actually really surprised by that decision, because I would have expected that he will really prioritize upgrading that ale house, because when it is upgraded, it gives you a very, very big advantage over your opponent, because you can just on the first activation you gain an additional meeple, and on every other activation you can just cycle meeples if you don't like the color you got. So you can use it to kind of mulligan your hand and get better meeples which are better suited for that situation. So we see Migelius betting on the transportation ship. So what this ship does, it doubles all of the transportation and upgrading capabilities of your village. So that, for example, we have a tile like this, the village center. Usually it allows you to move 1 resources along the road for one. You can move 1 tile basically with it and upgrade 1 building. So if you have this ship in your village, you will be able to move either 2 resources 1 tile, or move 1 resource 2 tiles using the same action and upgrade 2 buildings. So it is a very valuable ship, especially considering Migelius is kind of short on transportation right now. He only has his home tile to do that. So what else do we see in this game? We see... What is this boat even? I don't even remember seeing it in any other game. So, but we see flashvoyagerg going for it, and so this stream is apparently stuck. Okay. So let me just check what the boat does so I can tell you. A little bit sick. The weather has been very unkind here. Oh, so this oh god, what did I do with my scene? So this boat is actually really powerful because it allows you to break the same color rule. So usually you will only be able to bet and to use the tile with the workers of the same color. But using this you can use any color of workers. That is insanely powerful, especially in two-player game, because it gives you just an obscene advantage about over your opponent, especially if they invested heavily into green workers. This basically renders green workers absolutely freaking useless. So, this is a very nasty tile to have drop in this game. No wonder Flash Voyager. I would imagine Flash Voyager really wants to grab that one. So I think we will see a lot of raises there, and as we can see, he only used yellow workers on this one, so he's not using them anywhere else, so I would expect that he will be keeping his yellow workers to increase his bid in case Migelius tries to outbid him here. It's a shame we can't see player hands, unfortunately. That is not an option, which is really annoying, because it would be very useful to see what kind of workers they have and what we can expect from them. All right. What else do we see going on here? Doesn't look like Migelius is looking to contest the tile for now, and maybe he doesn't have so many yellow workers. The last round went by so damn fast that I didn't really pay attention to what colored workers were used in the winning bets, and those workers are the ones that are out of the game. So I can pretty safely assume that your opponent doesn't have too many of them in the following round. So it is a very important piece of information, and I think, as far as I can remember, I think quite many yellow workers were actually used, so Flash Voyager is probably keeping that in mind when bidding on this tile. And for now we can see Migelius actually going for a smelter, and smelter allows you to transform this little tile, this is called skill tile, into 3 pieces of iron, which is really powerful. But the real power of this building is once it's upgraded, and it is upgraded by its own product. It's upgraded by iron it itself produces. You can just use it once, upgrade it, and then it will produce gold. Gold is a very special resource, because gold can be used instead of any other resource, both for the purposes of upgrading and for scoring purposes, which is extremely important. So gold is really powerful in this game. Okay, so we see Migelius is going for another boat I haven't seen yet, so let me just quickly check. Okay, so for the game, this boat is not as impressive as the other one, because it just allows you to it makes all resources universal for the scoring purposes. Basically, that's it. It just makes all all resources count as any resource at the end of the game. So basically, makes any resource kind of into gold for the scoring purposes, which is not that impressive. This style really sounds overpowered, to be honest, too. Because, especially in a two-player game, I think this style is just absolutely absurd. Of course, it is kind of countered that by the fact that you don't get its effect until the 3rd season of the game, so maybe not that incredibly powerful, but you're pretty much guaranteed to win all the bets you want to win in those last 2 seasons. So that's actually really, really good. I think Migelius would be really how do I put it mildly? It would be really stupid of Migelius to not contest this style, in my opinion. If he, of course, even can contest, because I think we're seeing some pretty high-level play here, because both of those players are pretty experienced. They just went through a whole bracket and they emerged victorious, so I would expect that they both know what they're doing pretty damn well. So maybe flashvoyagerg just really countered hard and made sure that Migelius can't even contest him with this style, with the play he made. And he also wants to ensure that he gets his first pick in the next season, so... Whew, so he can probably have even more advantage over his opponents. I'm not even sure why he's putting this here, because I see a little point in him getting the first pick there. Maybe he just wants more workers. He wants to ensure that he gets that additional worker, because on the other hand, he might have as well just have saved it, because if he wins his bet on this style, just all workers are created equal for him, so he doesn't even really matter. And he's also not the one betting for the smelter, so maybe he really wants to make sure that Migelius doesn't get that unwill token, so he can't abuse his smelter. Yeah, there might be a line of reasoning why he is betting for that tile. And now we can finally see somebody using the village tile. Finally. So you can see how that works. So this is the ale house we've been talking about, and it was already used twice, sorry. First time it was used using this first worker here, and second time it was used by using these 2 workers here. And I'm really surprised that happened, because when you use it for the second time, you are basically down 1 worker at that point, because you're down 1 worker and you replace it with another colored worker. Oh, but I actually think that maybe it's flashvoyagerg that's doing that. I didn't really follow this play because I was a little bit busy explaining, but I think the flashvoyagerg might have done this play, because he really wanted to make sure that he has more yellow workers, and also he wanted to block that tile so that Migelius cannot use it and replace into more yellow workers. So, yeah. And also, by the way, since you get all the workers from your village tiles at the end of the season, you can just invest the workers 1 season and then get more the next. So, maybe it's just Migelius doing that. I didn't really consider that fact. Okay, now we see Migelius going for the upgrade. So as you can see, he used his village center, he got 1 transportation, 1 upgrade, so he transported his resources here and used them to upgrade to upgrade his workshop. And now he gets 1 of each resource each time he uses a workshop, which is really, really powerful here. On the other hand, we see flashvoyagerg just having a very solid bet on this really, really powerful boat, so I think he's getting it, and I don't think Migelius is getting his way, which is a little bit strange to me, because I think I would be jumping all over this thing, doing it in every possible way, basically. But maybe Migelius has something else in mind, and also we should pay attention to the fact that Migelius is actually the first player, so he could have totally bet with his own workers there and made it more difficult for the Flash Voyager to get this one. But we'll see. So far, some very confusing plays, let's just say. So we can see another rule being used there. If you're losing a bet, you can move the worker to use something else. So he moved one worker from his losing bet and added another one from his hand and used his workshop, which now gives him one of each resource, which is really good for him. What does he need? And that's exactly what he needs to upgrade the ale house. So that's why he built it like that, because he didn't need to build it close to the home tile, he just needed to build it close to the workshop, because he was looking to upgrade it, and now he's looking to upgrade his ale house. Which will be a little bit difficult for him, because he has so little transportation, he will need to use this 3 times to get his resources to the ale house. That is a little bit awkward for him, let's just say. And he continues to... and he continues to produce even more. Okay. This is where the game really gets going after the second round, because once you get those ships, you get kind of special abilities which will define your playstyle for the rest of the game. So you already have your production going, you already have your basic tiles set, and you already know kind of the general direction you want to move in. And at this point you get styles that will define how you play. And it's actually, wow, I didn't pay attention to this, but look at this stuff. Flash Voyager just won 3 ships. And the first pick at the meeples that he wants. Oh, this is actually not looking very good for Migelius, because just look at this, he will be getting all of these abilities. He will be getting double transportation, which is really good for him, because he has quite a bit of transportation already, and that will allow him to basically just very easily upgrade anything he wants. He will get the ability to bet for anything he likes and win, basically automatically, which is insanely powerful. And to boot, he just gets the ability to abuse absolutely any scoring building we will see in round 4 here. So this is a really strong position for the Flash Voyager, I feel, because he just got so many different abilities. That is really, really powerful. Okay, but let's see. Let's not jump to conclusions, because maybe Migelius has a plan, because who knows? Who knows? He's actually building his village in such a way so he has as many of these, you see, road triangles as possible, because when the winter comes, the ships get flipped over, and they give bonuses based on certain conditions. And one of those conditions is having as many of these triangles as possible, and you get 1 point for each. So he's definitely aiming to get that, I feel, because he already has 4 points for that, which is pretty sizable. On the other hand, the other ship, as we can see here, gives 1 point per unit, let's say, of transportation in your village, and those are doubled by this ship. So if Flash Voyager gets that, he will be ahead by a huge margin in that exchange, because that ship alone, if he gets it, just nets him 6 points of transportation just at this for transportation at this very moment, and he still has quite enough time to upgrade. So I think he has a very nice setup going on here. The only problem is, of course, he is kind of low on workers and on production, and as we can see, Migelius has 23 things in his hand. Now, these things in his hand include, I believe, the winter tiles as well, and also the skill tokens, but that means But that is also true for the Flash Voyager, and Flash Voyager only has 13 things in his hand, so he's actually down a lot of workers. He made that play in the last round, and he went really hard to push for all of these ships, and I think that is going to bring him to victory, but that meeple advantage might prove a little bit hard to overcome, because while he can use meeples of any color to bet now, he might just not have enough meeples, really, to outbet Migelius at this point, because Migelius still has 22 things in his hand, which means he has somewhere around 19 meeples against just 9 for Voyager. So let me get a little bit more comfortable here, and for whatever reason start speaking with that awful accent, but whatever. So this is looking really interesting right now, and as we can see, the game progresses really fast. We are already past its halfway point, and so far it's kind of hard to say really who will be victorious here, because and as we can see, a lot of this, first, a lot of the first scoring tiles enter the fray, and this one, Timber Yard, for example, if it's unupgraded, it will give you 2 points per unit of wood on this tile, so you need to keep them on this tile to get the points for it. And these buildings, we have a lot of these buildings, so they are just, yeah, basically every other one is the building of this type. It basically just gives you points, and it takes a certain amount of one of the resources to upgrade. So this is what the players are betting for in this round, and as we can see, the building up the economy is over, and now they just have to use what they have to really push for more and more points at this point. And let's see what is going on here. So we see Flash Voyager going hard on this forge here, which is understandable considering he has a miner, which will provide him with quite enough iron to upgrade it. And he's also pushing for goldsmith, because as we can see, upgraded miner will also provide him with gold, so he's going to just push really hard with his miner and try and get as much value out of it as possible by upgrading 2 buildings using the resources it produces. Also, he's also pushing again for the first player tile, and he's doing it really hard this time around. That is really surprising to me, because again, I actually see why he's doing it, because he doesn't want to go down on meeples even more in the final round, because that's where all of the really big, really juicy scoring buildings are coming, and he doesn't want to be that many meeples down when he does it. When he goes into the final round. I mean, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, and my sense of my what am I even talking about? Whatever. So he really doesn't want to go down so many meeples, because if he gives Migelius 6 and only gets 3 himself, it can be really disastrous for him, actually. So I can understand why he's pushing for this tile right now. And at the same time, we see Migelius pretty much just diversifying his investments, because he saw that Flash Voyager went hard on this forge here. And he immediately used that to just bet on these 3 buildings using yellow meeples, because he knows that Flash Voyager probably will bet everything on this forge. Every yellow meeple he has. So right now Migelius is just feeling comfortable and diversifying as much as he can. He will be getting these 3 buildings, and this is going to be really good for him, because he has this workshop which gives him 3 of each resource every time he uses it. Oh god, sorry. But right now we can actually see it used by Flash Voyager, and he gets all of these resources. Oh god. he gets all of these resources on his home tile, and now I think he will be upgrading the stable and probably the peddler and just everything he can get his hands on. Though I actually don't think he will be upgrading the peddler, because that makes very little sense considering he has no use for it now when he has this damn ship here, which basically... it basically allows him to use enemy meeples anywhere, and the green meeples become absolutely useless because their point is to knock down your opponent. Well, then they're not really that useless, but he has little use for them. He's down very many meeples, and spending his time converting into green right now just makes very little sense, really. Because he doesn't have that many moves. He's limited by the amount of meeples he has left in his hand, so he will have to play more aggressively. I feel he will have to spend most of his time betting and just getting as many of those tiles as possible. And of course, he for now he's stacking up on resources. I think he understands full well that he's not getting most of the buildings from Migelius here, because Migelius just has a lot of meeples. And he just can't outbid them based on that, because if he wants to go so hard on betting, he will not have enough meeples to get the buildings he wants in the final round. So for now, he's kind of For now, he's kind of backing off and using different transportation buildings. He used a green meeple there? Did he even have a green meeple? Oh no. I think we see a block here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we see a block here. We see Migelius doing a very dirty thing to Flash Voyager. We see him using the city center of Flash Voyager, which is something you can totally do. And placing a green meeple there, and that would have been and that is actually still very dirty, because this tile, it only works for betting, so it doesn't work for the actual production on the tiles. So now this tile can only be used for production by using green meeples, which Flash Voyager has none of, and that is a very, very sneaky move there, because I'm pretty sure... No, that won't prevent him from upgrading his miner. Yeah, I think that was a little bit mistimed, unfortunately, because he already transported enough resources to upgrade his stable, and he already had enough resources to upgrade his home tile, so... Yeah, that was a little bit mistimed, but it could have been a very, very nice move, and really could have really showcased, I feel, how powerful green meeples can be, because you can just lock down those spaces in your opponent's field, in your opponent's village, to deny him access to them, and they're really nasty. And you can do it with any tile, so whenever you see that an opponent is clearly going to go for a certain play, you can block him. That's the real power of those meeples. So we're seeing players take a little break as we can. So they're really thinking about what they're going to do. So okay, we see Flash Voyager grabbing a green meeple, so he understands. You see Migelius misplayed there. He used his meeple too late, and he also kind of he also kind of telegraphed his move to Flash Voyager, so Flash Voyager now knows that Migelius is likely to do something like that again. But we also should remember that Flash Voyager will get this meeple, because it is his village, so he will get all of the meeples on his village, so when the round ends, he will be the owner of 2 green meeples, which he will be able to use to block Migelius really efficiently, actually. Like, he will be able to just... Yeah, unless Migelius does something about it, he will be able to win 2 bets by using just 1 meeple. That is really, really efficient for him. Something's falling off. Whatever. Don't pay any attention to that. So we're actually very likely to see flashvoyagerg just completely ignoring his low number of meeples and still pulling ahead in this game, because he will be able to just use his meeples extremely efficiently. And don't forget that he can bet with meeples of any color now, so not only he will be able to win 2 bets with just 1 meeple, he's very likely to be able to win a 3rd bet as well. And those buildings in the final round, sorry, those buildings in the final round, they bring a lot of points. So yeah, I see a flashvoyagerg going for some pretty impressive strats right here. All right, so what is the bidding situation looking like right now? Let's see. Nothing much really has changed. We see Migelius just continuing to build his meeple advantage, but if the things go as I suspect they will go, I don't think that will help him really. That is looking very suspect for Migelius. His strategy is just not working out for him, because he will just get trounced by those green meeples, which he has no counter to right now. And the only counter would be to use the peddler, which his opponent owns, but that is really hard for Migelius to pull off, especially in the final round. It would be very dodgy to do, especially if his opponent decides to spend one of his own green meeples to do that, and to transform another yellow into green. That will completely shut down Migelius, and I really hope flashvoyagerg sees that, because that would be very, very clean play. That is extremely cool. So we see a lot of resources being built up right here. Do we see any upgrades? We actually see that Ale House got upgraded, and I'm pretty sure we don't see any more. Yeah, we don't see any more upgrades for now. But Migelius is just really going hard on that meeple advantage, but I think flashvoyagerg got this in the bag, really. I can think of many ways Migelius can pull ahead in this situation. So what I was looking at here, it's just, look at this stuff. Migelius is just going crazy on this workshop. He has so many resource tokens on it. Look at that stuff. He doesn't know where to put them. Look at this. He has so many resources on there. It's really, really something. And he has reached the limit of workers on one tile. You can have maximum of 6 workers on any tile at any given time. And now he's using 2 blue workers to use his opponent's building stable, and to move those resources around and upgrade some stuff around the board. So now he will finally kind of start to play catch-up with the points, because as you can see, this building is worth 5 points when it is upgraded. This building is also worth 5 points when it is upgraded. Workshop is worth 3 points, which is not a lot. So right now, yeah, as we can see on this counter, he has 13 points in his village right now, and flashvoyagerg only has 10, but that is bound to change very quickly, I feel. Of course, we might also see Migelius pulling ahead just through simply building these three things by upgrading them. But I'm not sure he'll be able to do that, really. Don't forget, he only has 1 round left, and we don't see many production buildings here in the works. And the ones that are actually the ones that can actually be upgraded using iron and gold are taken by the Flash Voyager. And that is the only resource you can produce efficiently on this board, because we have miner here. And everything else, players can produce using this workshop, but it is not very efficient. You only produce one of each, and you need to basically grab all 3 activations to build. Oh god, I think I'm starting to get more thick as I'm doing this, but whatever. So it's only possible to upgrade one of those buildings if somebody grabs all 3 activations of this. We also might see the upgrade on this, but again, that will only benefit Flash Voyager. So I actually struggle to see how Migelius will be able to upgrade all of that stuff he grabbed from there. And as we can see, Flash Voyager actually caught up really well on the meeple count right there. Look at that, he is only 7 down when he used to be like more than 16, something like 16 or 10, I think. He caught up a lot here, and we are going to see a very, very interesting final round here. I'm not really sure who will walk home victorious in this situation. But I think my bet is still on Flash Voyager, because I just see a lot of potential in his village. And I also think he might have forgotten what this ship does, because we saw him only betting in the workers of one color, which he is allowed not to do now. Oh god. So that's a little bit weird. We also see Migelius kind of struggling with his village. He clearly doesn't know where to put his stuff. On the other hand, Flash Voyager has just a very clear way to position his buildings right here, because he was going to upgrade this miner, and he's going to produce gold, and he's going to use that gold to upgrade his goldsmith. So this positioning is just clear as day, really. So now we are looking at the final round, and the key thing here will be how many and which tiles the players choose to place in the middle of the table. So in the final round, when you getting ready to play the winter, you choose of the 3 tiles that you have in your hand, which you keep hidden from your opponent. You know what they are, your opponent doesn't know what they are, and you choose which of the 3 you want to put in the middle of the table. And after they are put in the middle of the table, there will be bet on, by the normal rules. So you have to really think, because you don't want to give advantage to your opponent, so you want to pick the buildings that will be beneficial to you and not so beneficial to him, and that is usually very hard to do. So I am very, very curious to see how our players decide to play this out and what they will choose, because that will really affect how this game ends. And I'm also really curious whether Migelius realizes that Flash Voyager can just really screw him here with those green meeples. So that is going to be something really interesting. And also, what is interesting with this positioning? This is really strange. This doesn't even connect to anything with the road, so you can't put resources on there. That is really, really weird. It's just, I don't even know what it looks like. It looks like some, I don't know, it looks like something. Maybe like a blaster or a spaceship, if you just, if it's just some kind of weird futuristic handle, and this is kind of the sights. This is a really, really weird positioning. So now players get to actually choosing those tiles, and We will see. We will see what they decide to do. We'll see. This is this very, very tense moment of quiet in this game when both opponents are really thinking hard about what they're going to pick, what they're going to do. And I'm just relaxing for a little bit at this point, because in a minute we will have to really analyze what the players decided to put up forbidden in the middle of the table. I fully expect Migelius to maybe go for only one tile, because I'm pretty sure the flashvoyagerg will go for all three, because I think he must be feeling pretty confident in his ability to win everything he wants to win. So maybe Migelius will recognize that and just refrain from picking any additional tiles to get in the way of flashvoyagerg just straight up winning everything, really. Which I'm pretty sure he can do. Using his green nipples and using the and using his ability to bet nipples of any kind, I think he will be able to pretty much win everything we will see in the middle of the table. These players are really taking their time here, as you can see. Just nothing happening. Both are thinking really hard. Can't blame them, can't blame them. This is pretty much anyone's game at this point, because while I think flashvoyagerg is in a very dominant position, one misplay can cost him his entire advantage, so it's very curious to see what both players are going for. Okay, so we finally see what the players picked. So this is actually was quite on point. I think Migelius put only one there, and flashvoyagerg probably put all three. Maybe it is the other way around. I'm not sure here, but oh no, actually both players decided to put only two there. Yeah, now that I look at the hand counters, Migelius is used to be 27, now it's 25, and this used to be 20, now it's 18. So both players have put two tiles there. So let's see, what are the tiles? So windmill. Windmill is actually kind of a weak tile, in my opinion. It awards you 5 points for each 5 of any resource. Whoa, well, no, it's not that weak actually. It awards you 5 points for every 5 resources anywhere on the board, so they don't have to be on the main build, you don't have to transport them there. So that's actually pretty powerful, and I think this is going to be really powerful for Migelius, because he has a very good production capabilities, which will allow him to utilize the full power of this, I feel like. This is a scholar. So the scholar awards you 3 points per skill tile. You can choose one type of skill tile on the one type and get 3 points per each skill tile of that type. This is Scribes. Scribes afford you 10 points for a set of 3 different skill tiles. Wow, whoever put that out, I'm pretty sure has that set of skill tiles, which they have been probably gathering for the entire game, and that is a pretty huge payoff. And if you have more than one set, obviously you will get more points, but that is kind of hard to pull off, I feel. And finally, Craftsman Guild awards you 3 points per set of 3 meeples in your hand at the end of the game. So this is a very strange, I would say, building, because you want to be really careful when you bet on it, because if you you're left with a low amount of workers when you're trying to win this bet, you will just shoot yourself in the foot. You will get the building, which doesn't do much for you, really. But this actually can also be very good for Migelius, because don't forget, he has those guys, those production guys, and all the workers on your village at the end of the game, they will contribute. They will be counted for this one. So he can use that multiple times and just ensure he has a ton of workers to score this tile with. So that is very interesting. And for now, we see nobody betting really. We see. I would bet this is Flashvoyager style. Yeah, this is definitely Flashvoyager's worker, because we can see him going up 1, which means that he used that green worker to block that alehouse for Migelius. Just deny him that worker advantage, deny him that ability to use the Craftsman Guild, and I think that is a beautiful play. He just really shuts down Migelius with this move. This is really clever. At the same time, we see Migelius obviously using his own workshop to produce as many resources as humanly possible to probably finish upgrading that well, that sculptor, and all this stuff. But like I said, he will have trouble transporting those resources to those tiles. Because this workshop, he really should have thought better about positioning it. It's right now not in a very good spot. You can't really move resources efficiently with this positioning, so that's looking a bit grim for him. On the other hand, if you look, he's actually 9 points ahead of Flashvoyager, so while Flashvoyager is in a very solid position, he has a lot of catch-up to do, because he decided to bet for those ships. Those ships are great, but they have one very big downside. They don't give you any points, and I think that might be a little bit problematic for him. He will need to play really well to circumvent that and to make sure that he comes out ahead. So we see Flashvoyager is doing just that. Yes, moving 3 to there, upgrading his forge. Yeah, that's nice. That actually just bumps him up 7 points. That is extremely nice for him. And he also upgrades his miner, and that is actually a phenomenal turn for Flashvoyager, because he gets ahead at like 10 points. He actually pulls ahead of Migelius here, and that might be very hard for Migelius to compensate for. Not to mention, we are about to see a goldsmith going off very, very likely here, because Flashvoyager still has to use this of his miner, and that will give him the 2 gold he needs to go for this upgrade here. And so far we actually see no bets whatsoever on these tiles. However, we do see 1 bet from Migelius on the first player tile, which is very interesting in this round. It allows you to pick the ship, one of the 2 ships, and its bonus first. And not only that, it also allows you to get this tile itself and place it in your village. And the way it works, you see it only has 1 road. So I think he was actually building... He was probably building really hard for that. Yeah, he was really building hard for that. He made sure that he can place it with maximum efficiency, you will get 1 point for each tile adjacent to it. So if he gets this tile, he will be able to pull 5 points ahead, which is very, very nice considering he doesn't spend any resources on that. And also he will get this violet little kid guy, which counts as a worker of any color at the end of the game. It can also be counted as a resource of any type of color, which is very, very important, because as you can see, we have 2 buildings that care about resources and workers, so this might actually give him a very considerable edge, I feel. Also, we see finally bets going off, and we see that flashvoyagerg really locks down this scholar. He uses his second green worker to make sure that his opponent cannot get this scholar. This is a very interesting play. Again, it's a shame we can't see the flashvoyagerg's hand, because we will probably understand why he made this decision. He must have a lot of skill tiles of the same type, since he, of all of these options, went for this one. At the same time, Migelius is going for this one, so it was probably his building, and he probably really wants to get this 10 points bonus for getting 1 skill tile of every type. And Windmill is just kind of sitting there, doing nothing, and it is very actually unlikely to do anything for anybody in this game. I think flashvoyagerg might bet on it just so that Migelius doesn't get to put it in his village. But we will see. We will see. So far, it is very interesting. So, what else is going on in this game? I rightfully can't tell you, because what I can tell you is that I have no light in here now, because the sun has set. Let me check if this is fine. Let me make sure that works. Okay, that works. So, what do we see going on? We honestly don't see much going on here, other than the flashvoyagerg just grabbing 3 iron from somewhere? I'm pretty sure he was supposed to put a worker here, not that thing. Well, whatever. So he probably used this building, I think. Oh no, he actually used this building. Yeah, he used his anvil to convert it into 3 pieces of iron. So, okay, that works. I'm very curious to see what he's going to use it for. He might go for the windmill here, because I don't see any other use for this iron right now. Okay. At the same time, what is Migelius doing? Not much, it appears. We actually see flashvoyagerg grab another green worker, because he knows his opponent has none, and he, I think, is going to abuse that to his maximum advantage. He already locked 2 things down just by using 1 green worker. That's great efficiency for him. He's fully capitalizing on the fact that his opponent did not get any green workers throughout the entire game, despite having an opportunity to do so. That is, again, very smart play. I really, really like the way Flash Voyager did this. I think Migelius might be a little bit lost right now because I'm pretty sure he's realizing in how bad of a situation he is right now. He might be getting quite a bit of points from those buildings he's grabbing in this round, but I'm pretty sure that Flash Voyager will just not let him grab many of those, because if he abuses the power of that boat finally, he will be able to easily outbet Migelius on any one of those buildings and just deny him those points. And right now I feel like the appropriate way to go is to really crack down on the Craftsman Guild, because Migelius has a lot of workers, and I have all reasons to suspect that he will be grabbing like anywhere from 9 to 12 points from this. Another good bet might be Scribes, just to deny his opponent this 10 points. Like, you are very unlikely to get those 10 points, even though maybe somehow, maybe, I'm not sure. But just denying your opponent, that is really important. And we see the well upgraded using a 3 iron by Migelius, which puts him to 26 points. So he's again in the lead right now, but that is a very tenuous advantage at best, because as we can see, he has very little resources, and he has placed his bet on the windmill, so that windmill will just not work for him right now, unless he decides to really invest heavily into abusing that workshop, and even then, it's just 5 points, it's not that much, and you will be investing quite a bit of resources to get that to work. At the same time, we see Flash Voyager just chilling, just using his miner, getting some gold. Next turn, I suspect he will use that miner again to get more gold and to upgrade his goldsmith to get him 7 points, which is very, very nice. It will put him in a solid lead, and again, he is in control of this game. Like, Migelius has an advantage on resources, and he clearly has some very nice plays lined up, but Flash Voyager can just screw with him in so many nasty ways. And as we can see, this poor Timber Yard will be giving him only 2 points at the end of the game. That is not good. This is not looking good for him, because he simply wasn't able to transport enough wood there to really make this building work. So now we're waiting for the Flash Voyager's move, who is deciding to take his time and to think a little bit about what he wants to do, and rightfully so, because like I said, I believe that he is in control of this game. He is able to do whatever the hell he likes right now, so let's see what is going to be happening right now. We can see, like, we can see Flash Voyager really biding his time with this move. This is a real tense moment, because I think whatever he decides to do here might make or break his entire game plan. So he decides to... Yeah, he decides to deny those scribes to Migelius. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the necessary amount of skill tiles to get the actual benefit of the scribes, but he's just milking the resources out of Migelius. He's making him spend those meeples, and each time he spends meeples, this craftsman guild just getting more and more useless. I'm pretty sure he will barely scrape like 6 points from it right now. It's not looking good for him. Unless, of course, he somehow has an insane amount of yellow workers there. And we see flashvoyagerg finally abusing that power. Abusing the power of his ship and betting on the first player tile with blue meeples when there's already a yellow meeple standing there. And that is very understandable considering how many points Migelius would get from that tile. Really thinking through what he's about to do, because again, every move here is really crucial, because those players are just going very tightly right now. Nobody is far ahead, and nobody has that decisive advantage that would make them feel comfortable here, I feel. So we see Migelius raising up the stakes again. Putting an additional meeple on the first player tile, but he's getting milked here. He's just... all of his resources are getting lured away from him, and that is not looking good. That is not looking good. So we see that flashvoyagerg decides to keep his bet on the starting player tile. I think that's because he just wants to make sure Migelius has to spend a lot of resources to get it. Or maybe it's just to ensure that he can get it himself, if he deems it appropriate. This is looking really interesting right now. Oh, okay, so he decides to do it like that. Decides to redistribute. I'm actually really surprised by that decision. I'm pretty sure that Migelius at this point does not have many sets of 3 meeples right now. Because look at the amount of yellow meeples he just put out on the table. I'm pretty sure he has like 1 or 2 sets at most. So that's a really weird decision. And if you look at flashvoyagerg just has 6 meeples in hand, and he has a considerable amount on his village, but unless all of the meeples in his hand are yellow, he's not getting many sets from that craftsman guild. So that is a little bit weird, let's just say. Okay, we see Migelius. Oh, alright, we are... So both players decide to pass. So we are going into the final scoring here. This is going to be really tight. It is a very interesting game, because we had 3 ships in the second round. That is interesting. That doesn't happen very often. We see the players grab their final boards. And curiously enough, oh, there is a mistake. Let me notify them. Okay. Hopefully they notice it. Okay, so we see that. Oh my God! Migelius actually had 2 sets of 3 tiles. That's insane. Is it 3? Oh my, 3 sets? Okay. So, oh my God, I'm pretty sure that Migelius has taken this one. This was unexpected. Those scribes. Look at this stuff. This is insanity. Where the hell did he... Oh my God. Oh, I was overlooking this for the entire game. This hiring fair in his village he was using consistently to get more and more skill tiles, and he was just building this huge hand, knowing that he will be able to capitalize on that. Oh my God, that was great for him. That is 30 points. I'm pretty sure this leaves Flashvoyager way behind. I did not expect that. That was really, really good. Yeah. And Flashvoyager only has 2 sets of workers. He was denying the wrong thing all this time. Oh my God, he made the same mistake that I did, I believe, because he also did not notice this hiring fair, which was working the entire game to ensure that Migelius gets this huge swing at the end. That was really well played. That was really beautiful play right there. Oh, really? And Flashvoyager also supposed that Migelius has a lot of workers, not a lot of skill tokens in his hand. And that was a grim mistake here, because Migelius really didn't have that many workers. He had all what he had. And oh my God, that was great. That was great. That was really well played. I can't say anything. I am pretty sure this match ends solidly in favor of Migelius. We'll wait until the players count their final points, but oh yeah, we can already see that. So yeah, definitely, because Flashvoyager only has 49 points at the end of the game, and Migelius is already guaranteed at 56 freaking points. 56 just off that scribes alone. It's insane. So much value. Oh my God, it's really, really impressive. It's a very, very nicely executed game by Migelius. He is just... It honestly looked like Flashvoyager was in control, but that's what we get when we can't see what the players have in their hands. And if we could see that all of the time Migelius was building that huge hand of skill tiles, just use of that scribes in the end, oh, I would have evaluated this game completely differently, because this was all that mattered, the entire game. Whether Migelius would be able to get scribes at the end, he played this. It was really nice, because he never really betrayed the fact that he has so many points to get from those scribes. So nobody, I think, even suspected that he will be getting so much out of it. It's incredible. It's really beautiful. That's great. So that's the finals of the Group D, and Migelius is taking it with an incredibly impressive victory by 22 points. That's a lot in this game. That's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. This is really impressive thing. This is really impressive stuff. I am truly stunned by this result. I did not expect that at all. So I think everything is verified at this point. I congratulate Migelius on winning this game, on advancing to the elimination round of our tournament, and this is really, really good, and I hope we see more games like this further in the tournament. And for now, I wish you all good luck, and I wish you all best time of day. That is your time of day at this point of time. It is evening here in Moscow, and hopefully I will see you at the further streams, and yes, good luck to you all, and goodbye.